Welcome back to some Random Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely little island on Fawnhollow today, as we start off a weekend with, well, I guess it's not really the start of a weekend, seeing as it's nearly 5, but you know, we midpoint, it's not even midpoint, we near the beginning of a weekend off with some lovely relaxing times here in Fawnhollow. I don't know where I was going with that, but you know what I was thinking about recently? Inspired by a random Tumblr post which I saw reposted onto Reddit, and you might question why I'm using social media through like 2 different forms of disconnection, but well, it's about loaded in time, so I guess we'll get into it in a second. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 4:56 PM on Saturday, July 3rd, 2021. Let's really speak up. What I was thinking about, it was a picture of no, it was from someone's blog post, and it was just like, I feel like people don't really comprehend how quickly technology has moved in recent years. And it showed like 2 pictures. One of, I assume, is the Wright brothers and the first plane that they created, and then a picture of man on the moon and that sort of thing. And it said the only thing that the number of years which separated these 2 photos is 66. And if you stop and think about it, that's about 1 lifetime. And that, you know, that's when, you know, I put my phone down and decided to actually crawl out of bed and actually do stuff of day. But I thought that was very sort of like mind-blowing in a sense, which we'll get onto after this mirror letter. Question for you, dear. I was working in my garden and I must have gotten carried away yelling at aphids and slugs and stuff, because I looked up and saw one of our neighbours running scared. Do I have that effect on everyone? Be honest with me, Mira. We need to get rid of some letters. I've just realised we got far too many clogging up our inventory. But I thought, isn't that just kind of crazy to think about? Like, it didn't really click in my mind that sort of thing happened over the space of no, we've got to keep that, to stick it to them. Let's just get rid of all the Happy Home Academy ones. I don't care anymore about this. It's crazy to think that that could have happened in your entire lifetime. Like, I mean, when do you start retaining memories properly? When you're younger, probably when you're like 5 or something. If you were born in what year would that be? I don't even know. Whatever year would make it so you're 5 whenever Wright brothers created their first airplane, and you got to see them, like, I don't even know, on a black and white TV. Wait, I don't even know when TV was invented, I suppose, which is how like detached from history I suppose I am. You would at least hear about it. It was probably newspapers been around that time. I feel like my grand scale, my sense of what and when things happen is just completely off. It's like, oh, you know, when's the telephone invented? I don't know. It was like probably around the time TV was invented. How long was it? I don't know. 200, somewhere between 200 and 20 years ago. Okay, obviously those numbers exaggerated, but still. But can you imagine just hearing about airplanes when you're like 10 and be like, whoa, that's so cool, we're flying up in the sky and that sort of thing. We got like cars, but for the air. And then just thinking like, I wonder where we'll be in like 50 years time. And then by the time you retire or whatever, man has landed people on the moon, like physically on that giant, I was going to say planet, that's not right, satellite, up in the sky, whatever, thousands of miles away. We've sent people, living people on there to walk it and to pick up, you know, like materials from it and just touch it through astronaut gloves, I suppose. That's crazy. That's weird to think about. Can you even, like, okay, maybe you're watching this and you're like 75, in which case, good on you, for 1, and 2, you'd be like, I don't have to imagine it, I lived it. Okay, but for like everyone else who didn't live it, can you imagine how wild that is? That's so mind-blowingly crazy. I actually almost can't comprehend how ridiculous that would be. And I'm trying to think what a parallel would be. So okay, what was like hit technology when I was like 10? A flip phone, I guess. That seems reasonable. And now we got smartphones, not but 15 years later or something. I mean, much earlier than that, but like, smartphones are just like, everyone's got a smartphone now. So many years later, like, think, when I'm going to retire, what sort of crazy invention will we have by that point? Will we have like, this is a problem when you're the past thinking about the future, because you don't really know what sort of technology is going to be available to you. So it's very easy to fall into the sort of like sci-fi futuristic stereotype trap of being like, oh, it's going to be like holographic screens and that sort of thing, which we'll reach into and be able to, like, you know, like Tony Stark, Iron Man sort of paraphernalia and work utility tools. That's not the word I wanted, but I couldn't think of what word I wanted is. And that's going to be like a replacement for like computers or phones, whatever, is always going to be like this holographic screen, which somehow has some sort of depth perception in it. But, you know, that's sort of like, not really how technology develops. The technology which we'll just end up discovering in the future is going to be something which you probably don't even comprehend and probably can't even understand right now, but will be so like meaninglessly common by then. It would just be like every day, I suppose. Because I'm not sure if you've ever seen it. There's some post, I have no idea where I saw it. Maybe it was a news article even, that was showing like people in the 50s, maybe? What they predict? No, 50s is far too recent. It must have been way earlier now I think about it. It must have been like 1800s now I think about it. Yeah, 50s doesn't make any sense. In the 1800s or something, predicting what the year would look like, what technology would look like in 100 years. And they basically, you know, unsurprisingly, all the technology that they imagined was based off things that they knew about. And so they had like, it's sort of just like extrapolation. So like they had like bikes as a big form of transportation. Oh, what's going to happen? We're going to take bikes to the sky. That's what's going to happen. How's that going to work? I don't know, but some sort of steampunk like pulley system which like mimics birds' wings, like flapping very vigorously as you cycle, and that's how we're going to be the default mode of transportation. Of course, that's sort of just like, you think about that now, it'd be like very impractical and very unsafe and nonsensical, and also not the technology we have at the time. Not saying that someone couldn't make it, they absolutely could make a cycle plane, but you know, what we have is just leagues and leagues better than what they could have even dreamed of, and they probably couldn't even comprehend what the heck a steam engine was. Let alone whatever sort of jet engine technologies going on with all the motor stuff, which is like understandable. Like, you're not expected to be able to predict the future of that sort of thing. You can't just sort of imagine things which don't exist yet. But that's basically my point. It's like, think about the technology which we're going to have in 50 years, provided we keep up with the same level of technological development, which I'm not actually super sure we're going to be doing, but it's just going to be like on a completely different planet that you can't even comprehend. Anything that you think of now, okay, maybe not anything you think of now, but for the layperson, the things you think of now, what will be, what word do I want here? It's something like constitution, but it's not the word constitution. Whatever makes up like the brunt of technology in the future is going to be something which, I'm not going to say you can't comprehend it, because obviously you're going to be able to comprehend it if you grew up with it and you learned about it, but like, you can't, it's difficult to extrapolate it from the technology we have now necessarily. I mean, there's things you can extrapolate now. You can be like, oh, things like the next level AI transport technology, all transportation is now AI controlled and organized and that sort of thing. Okay, that seems like a plausible extrapolation. Is it something that's going to happen? I don't know. No one really knows, I suppose, which is kind of a point of it not being the present and it being the future, but still. But the question sort of becomes like, what other sort of extrapolations can you make? Audie has been in her house twice now. I hope she's not ill. Should probably check on him a little bit more, but still. So what other things can you extrapolate? Oh, she is ill. Let's get you some medicine. But the advent of AI, or not even AI, but like machine learning, I suppose, in general, that sort of thing, and how it affects us in the everyday world, definitely could be something that happens in the future. Some sort of like biosynthetic creation thing in the future, like being able to replace organs not from donors necessarily, but using stem cells to grow them would be super cool as well. What is that even plausible? I don't know. I don't know. You might say it's kind of depressing to think about like the people like 80 years in the future just looking back and laughing, be like, oh, look how ignorant we were. But you know, that's a future which our children and grandchildren are living in. That's good that they should be looking back and being like, look how primitive our times were. Because hopefully by then everything, not everything's solved, but everything should be improved, right? Hopefully, I hope in 80 years at least we can do something about climate change, but unfortunately that's not really up to if you have every person to do, so much more for big companies who are in control. But maybe that's, you know, social change can happen, like economic and political restructuring, that sort of thing. I mean, we're not really inventions, I suppose, but which is what the focus was, but still, it'd be very interesting to see exactly what come around. What am I doing? What missions do I wanna do? Hot item, diving, suckerfish. Okay. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, maybe the future is just full of, like, quantum information stuff. Wooden block chair, log chair. I wonder which of those is easier. Probably the log chair is my guess, but I'm not certain. Because, you know, we're on the advent of... Well, I shouldn't say we're on the advent of it. More like... Slowly, Wait, what? Oh, that's a log chair. 8 hardwood. Or 6 softwood. 6 softwood, obviously easier. Let's go make that first, and then we'll do stuff. But yeah, like quantum computing and that sort of thing. It's very much in the infancy stages right now, but if it's something which can be developed and end up taking off, then that could really revolutionize technology as we know it now, and that'll be that's the sort of technology which regular people don't even, you know, probably aren't even all that aware of in the first place, which is not like a knock on like the everyday person, because even my knowledge of it, despite the fact I attended some modules about that sort of thing, even my knowledge of it is not even that great of it. Even I don't understand it particularly all that well. But I feel like that sort of thing is going to be so far detached from our comprehension of it now, you know? Isn't that just weird to think about? Like, imagine just like 60 years time, okay, quantum computing is a thing. We've now got basically... see, this is a problem. It's just basically what the technology we have now, but like super upgraded, rather than just being a whole new branch of technology in the first place. But maybe quantum computing leads to something which is just like unimaginable. Maybe like, I don't want to say teleportation, because that's not really what quantum computing can do, but like instant any size data transfer, I suppose, that sort of thing. Where things like distance is now basically no longer an issue. You want to share... Oh, sorry. hit my mic guy. You want to like send a voicemail or something, or an audio clip, or even an image or video over to someone, just like on the other side of the world. It's done instantly because of quantum particles. I don't know. Someone else can work out the technical details of it. I'm just going to be here just talking about it. That's crazy, and that's in the realm of like things we can comprehend, right? I don't even know what we can't comprehend. To quote some random, very popular TV show with a very good exploitable, I don't even know what I don't know. It's simultaneously very frightening not knowing what you don't know, but also kind of cool, kind of curious. I mean, obviously it's going to be curious. Like, I guess who wouldn't be curious about that sort of thing? Who's not going to be like, oh, I want to peek... Oh, like a genie comes up being like, oh, I'll allow you to peek 80 years in the future to look up technology. Who's going to be like, nah, no thanks. I mean, I guess you can argue, you'll say no, because he's like, oh, I'm better off not knowing. It was sort of like, the ideation will kill me inside, but still. Sorry about that little bit of a pause, or not a little bit, but, what am I doing? What was I talking about? I was talking about like conventions or something called the future? Something like that. I don't remember. Alright, let's try and predict what's going to happen in the future. Okay. So advent of AI technology. Well, AI, quote, you know, I know it's always a little bit contentious, because especially if you get someone who's actually an expert in AI, they'll be like, oh, that's not actually AI, that's like machine learning, which is like slightly different, or something. Okay. Like, you know, well, I'm using this as an umbrella term, rather than the particular detail. Something about computer-controlled... A computer making decisions based on, I guess, large groupings of statistical data. That kind of loses meaning. Okay, I'm just going to say AI. AI controlled lots of things. I'm not going to say everything, but, you know, when I think about how often they're trying to make every, like, gadget in your house now smart by just, like, sticking a tablet on it and then making it Wi-Fi connected, I can't... If AI becomes, like, commonplace, like some big, like, central brain or something that a load of different technology can access or whatever, I'm going to imagine they're going to try and make AI for everything, almost. Like, you know, nowadays you've got like, oh, why do we even need a smart fridge in the first place? It seems so pointless. We're going to have AI fridges or something like that. Imagine that. You could just be like, hey fridge, what's expiring soon? And they'll be like, good morning, dear. Your milk is expiring in 5 days. Also, your pork mince has nearly run out. And don't forget to eat these leftover enchiladas that you made last Wednesday. Thanks, fridge. You're welcome. Something like that. Yeah, because they sort of cram like smart technology in anything. In anything now, they're going to cram AI technology in everything as well, since they get their hands on it. That's my prediction. I'm trying to think of what other things would even have smart technology, like AI technology. I guess you could have like a toaster, but like a toaster just does one thing anyway. I don't even think you can make a smart toaster. Well, I say I don't think you can. They probably have, but like, what does smart toaster even do? It connects to your Wi-Fi. I guess you can see how long your toaster's been toasting for. That seems a very sort of like one-dimensional job. It seems a bit redundant, but I suppose if you want the technology of the future, you've got to have all that sort of fancy schmancy gadgets and stuff that they've got going on. But I'll leave it up to you. But I'm just trying to think about it. But okay, this is going to be a bit of a weird reference. You know how in Pokemon Sun and Moon, they have a thing where they basically put a Rotom in every single Pokédex? If you don't know what Rotom is like a pseudo-legendary Pokemon or whatever. Excuse me. A pseudo-legendary Pokemon, which basically has a mind of its own and is, as far as humankind is concerned, a sapient creatures, and they're basically sort of like putting them into all sorts of technology. I guess it's the Pokemon world equivalent of smart technology, except for now it's AI technology, question mark, even though it's not really, I guess it's not really AI, it more just is a sentient, is it sapient or sentient? I always forget which way around it's meant to be. Sentient being legitimately inside your technological device. Imagine you have that for everything. I mean, we got like OK Google, Siri, what's a Samsung one, Bixby or something. Some company's got Alex, who has some like AI what's that word? Like VTuber avatar thing. Who knows? Even at this point, but I suppose that would just be commonplace in the phone. It's having like a companion with you in your phone, which, you know, is unsettling in many sort of ways. That seems like something which will become probably already is a Black Mirror episode. If I wasn't so sure, but you know, I guess is that cool? I don't know if that's cool the more I think about this. I am certainly someone who likes to make bonds with inanimate objects, I suppose. Well, that makes it sound weird, like anthropomorphize them. You know, like when you got toys, you know, you've got to make sure they all breathe, make sure they can all have a fair time being played with, otherwise you feel like they'll get sad, despite the fact that, you know, the toys are just toys in the end, but I don't know, in my mind they sort of like have some sort of soul. I don't know how I'd feel about that if my phone suddenly gained a soul. And not even a real soul, I suppose, like an artificial soul in some aspect. I'm not sure if I want to get too attached to my phone, because like when it comes and like dies, it's going to be like a pet passing away, and it's going to be all sorts of heartbreak all over again, which I'm not sure I'm equipped enough to deal with for something which changes like every 4 years anyway. That seems like it would be a huge burden to bear on your shoulders, but luckily probably won't have to deal with that for a good while, so we're safe for now. But what if they just like did that sort of thing, the Pokemon way? Just put the equivalent of a Rotom and everything. Obviously we don't have Rotoms in our world, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult than that. And it's not really going to be so much of a sentient creature, but still, it's a weird thought. And we're getting dangerously close to skirting on the territories of David Cage's David Cage apostrophes Detroit Beyond Human, which is, you know, a look at AI technology, I suppose, but it's more to I suppose it's more used as a heavy-handed metaphor for discrimination and that sort of thing. But oh, that would be really good now if Detroit actually went into like exploring the dangers and good side of AI and that sort of thing. I shouldn't say dangers, because I don't think AI is necessarily all that dangerous. Robots are very logical things, so, you know, harming other people seems very illogical unless it's really, and I suppose harming them would be required to stop them from harming other people. I don't really know. That sort of gets into weird moral quandaries, which I'm not really prepared to talk about. But yeah, I mean, I don't think if we have AI take over, then so be it. That's sort of just like my view. If Detroit Beyond Human happens and AIs want to be free and have a voice and stuff, that sort of thing, I'm just like, go for it, my droids. My droids, I don't know. I was meant to be like my dudes, but that sounded a bit weird. yeah, go for it. Why not? If anything, it's sort of just like upgraded humanity, except for, I suppose, without a moral quandary of humanity, because, you know, robots don't really get ill, I suppose. They sort of like cease functioning and that sort of thing, but I guess you can replace their parts, but then I guess you get into another sort of weird moral issue of being like the ship of Theseus? Or is it Theseus? I think it's Theseus. Well, if you keep replacing robot parts, how much of it ends up being the same, especially if you replace like the memory bank? I don't know, and it's like that's a lot of philosophical questions which I don't think I have answers to, and which I don't think anyone's really got answers to in the first place. But anyway, AI is interesting, but I don't actually think it would be the biggest thing I'm excited for future technological developments. I think the coolest thing is actually medical developments, believe it or not. You know, being able to get rid of so many illnesses, diseases, and conditions, which very much impact people's lives. You know, like, imagine if we had a cure for cystic fibrosis, which is like a permanent thing. You could just be like, bada bing, bada boom, and gone. But then I guess it goes more into philosophical, like, moral quandaries of what should be things which should be removed through medicine, like before someone's born, and what shouldn't. And I also don't think I'm prepared enough to answer those sort of questions either. But like, I just want to come at it from the angle of like, oh yeah, we found a cure for common cold, so you won't need to get influenza ever again. Awesome. We found a cure for cancer. Oh, that's awesome. You know. Amazing, fantastic, and that's sort of just where I'll leave it at that, because those are just like, I was going to say subjectively good. No, I think I'm going to say objectively good, you know, assert myself a little. Those are just good things, you know. That's what I just want, good things to happen, you know. And I like to live in, I suppose, my little fancy world where some weird dystopia doesn't happen as a cause of new technological developments, and things are all good. So let's continue living in this future which doesn't exist. And if it doesn't come to pass, then I guess we'll just sort of have to face that future when we come to it. But yeah, what other sort of technological developments that could be good? I think transport is another good one. Oh, you know what? Energy. Clean, renewable, cost-efficient energy. I know it's actually kind of in the advent of its development stages right now. A lot of energy resources and developments are happening. Like, solar panels are becoming cheaper and cheaper by the year. Not every place, you know, can use solar panels particularly well, but it depends, you know, completely on sunlight. We don't get too much sunlight here in the UK. I think we're much better off with like wind farms, right? Wind farms getting more and more efficient every single time. It's cool. You know, it was hopefully slowly weaning ourselves off of reliancy on things like fossil fuels and carbon heavy emissions, but you know, it's more than just the technology, I suppose, developing or that sort of thing. There's a lot of infrastructure as well which would need restructuring, but again, none of these things are really in my purview. My purview as a layperson to be like, oh cool, we got clean technology now, not technology, clean energy now, that sort of thing. No more emissions, climate change, less of a worry. Not going to say not a worry, but less of a worry. Interesting things like that, huh? Whoa, 2 pauses in 1 episode? How come your mum lets you have 2 pauses in 1 episode? I don't know. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore, to be honest. I know it's something about inventions, but I kind of lost track of the entire thing. Basically, just like, look to the future now, it's only just begun. We didn't get medicine for Audie. Okay, let's get 4 more fish real quick. And then we'll get medicine for Audie, just like Flowers for Algernon, which is a book I've also not read, but it's about a mouse. Or rat? Lab rat? Something like that. Something along those lines. I'm not too well versed in the intricacies of English literature. I don't even know if it's English. Maybe I feel like it's a Russian book, but I also don't know if that's true. Oh, that's a Flowers for Algernon. Oh, it's American. Never mind. I don't know why. It just gave me Russian energy. What does that even mean? I don't know. Do I look like I know? I mean, you can't see me right now, so I guess that'll be a you don't know, but fair enough. We will just continue trying to farm up some Nookmar missions, and then eventually one of Claude will give us his photo and then ask to move out, or Mira will ask to move out, or who's the other one? Jakey, who I also haven't seen for like 12 years on Fawnhollow. Oh yeah, my whole point was like, that's crazy about all this technology has passed in like a single lifespan. Isn't that weird? Because of like Moore's law, I guess, or whatever. You know, like every decade, the number of microchips you can fit on some circuit board or something doubles. Which I don't know if that's still holding true, but I've got to imagine at this point technological advances are slowing down with that sort of thing. And it's to be expected, you know, you can't keep pace with that sort of thing forever. Or maybe you can, I don't know. But like, I mean, we've had lulls in technology developments before throughout history. Like in that same post, which to circle back to what I was originally talking about that same post, it was just like, oh, you know how like the fastest way of mode of transportation was like chariot or something for like 3,000 years, and then suddenly we invented, I can't remember what it was, something, and then at some point it became trains, and then like 60 years later on the moon, and that's something just crazy. It is crazy, but maybe, you know, it's sort of just like a rapid exponential curve, but also it flattens out. So maybe it's not really exponential. Maybe it's like a arctan curve. Does that make sense? Yeah, arctan works, I think. You might have to shift it slightly. Yeah, arctan brackets x minus like 100 pi or something. I don't know. It's very, that joke, like, no one's even gonna understand that. I don't even know why I committed to it so much, but there you go. Instead, we're just gonna sell all these things, not that, and then we will buy medicine, give it to Audie, round off the episode there, because I've run out of things to talk about. Well, not really run out of things to talk about. As I say, I like to keep individual topics contained within their individual video. I don't like to branch out. Well, not branch out more. I don't like to mix topics where I can. I've only got so many things I could potentially talk about, so you gotta make it last. The fact we've made it to like 400 and something different topics is absurd in its own right. I'm sure there's been a lot of repeats, but still. The fact we're still here is amazing, and you might think, oh, she means, oh, the fact we're still here recording me making videos and you potentially listening to them. That's amazing. No, I mean, here is like humanity, I guess. As a society. That's like a bit of a darker spin than I intended, but maybe it was funny, maybe it wasn't, who knows. Basically, the long and short of it is, you know, the world changes quickly. You better keep up or you might get left behind. Is essentially how a lot of things go, so. Do you think we could rap for medicine and then give it to Audie, be like, here's a present, surprise, it's like paracetamol. Is that a trademark name? There might be a trademark name. I'm not sure if that's like the actual name of a drug, but it probably is. It sounds like it. Paracetamol, ibuprofen, aspirin, I guess. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, actually, it kind of depends on what sort of illness that Audie has, but I am also not a doctor and not practice in the way of a doctor's. In the way of medicine. The way of a doctor sounds very strange. It sounds like a way of a ninja or something, a way of a samurai. Which, I guess that's just a Hippocratic oath at that point. So, I don't know, I feel like that's got a good joke hiding in there somewhere. No skunk in your noggin. I got your medicine. I feel like you should have medicine at home, to be honest. But, you know, yeah, take care. Take care, everybody. Don't push yourself too hard. Wouldn't want to get spread by illness and all that sort of thing, especially with new cases flaring up recently, but that's a bit too close to our home, so let's move on with that and we'll round up this episode here. Yeah, I know, medical advances, that'd be awesome to see in the future. And self-driving cars and transportation. That's what I want to see, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord and follow me on Twitter down below. I hope we can see each other again, but for now it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.